Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 19th and 20th of December 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. So watch this video till last. But I am requesting you all the students that you have to download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link. After that, log in with the email ID. Then click on this Crack Current Affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily, you will see three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, you will receive three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Most important section is the monthly, and we are providing four type of PDFs. One is detail, second is question and answer format, third is best 100 current affair that is also provided in the form of question and answer, and fourth one is pocket PDF. It means 2-liners and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise these current affairs in quick format before your exam. But to enhance your performance further, we are providing 20 most important topic wise PDF. It means if you want to cover one particular topic, then you can use this topic wise PDF. If you are a banking student, we are providing three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section. But all these three things are only related to banking and economy. And you can attempt this quiz only on our application on monthly basis. If you want to cover all the past current affair of 2021 just from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. We are providing detailed budget and economic survey. Expected question and answer will be provided to you so that you can recall that examiner can make these type of questions from budget and economic survey. If you are appearing for your respective state exam, then we are also providing you state current affair, and we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under only one subscription. You have to just download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link. After that, log in with the email ID. Then click on this Crack Current Affair section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But if you are a new student, you are just starting your preparation, then I am advising you to subscribe for 2 years. And we are providing 10% extra discount on both subscriptions if you use this code ASH10. And if you have any query, you can email us or you can call us on this number or email ID. So let's start today's current affair, that is 19th and 20th of December. But first of all, you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And join our Telegram channel from the description box link. Here is the first question in the most important section. India's first international arbitration and mediation center inaugurated in which state? So the most important keyword highlighted in the blue, first international arbitration and mediation center. And this is basically inaugurated by Chief Justice of India, that is N.V. Ramana ji. And this is inaugurated in Hyderabad. It means I am talking about the state of Telangana. So answer of this question is B. So you can see here, Justice N.V. Ramana inaugurated International Arbitration and Mediation Center in the state of Telangana. If examiner is asking exact place, then you can answer Hyderabad. So you can see here, this International Arbitration and Mediation Center has been established to quickly resolve the issues that arise due to the lack of sufficient judges, because there are a less number of judges in the Supreme Court as well as in High Court. You can see maximum number of judges in the Supreme Court can be 34. And what is the meaning of this arbitration? So arbitration is a method of resolving disputes outside of court. And in this procedure, the dispute is submitted by agreement of two parties to one or more arbitrators who make a binding decisions on the dispute. And this international center will settle commercial dispute, and it will also look into the disputes of ordinary people. And the main benefit of this arbitration over traditional litigation are fewer delays, less expenditure, and more involvement of the parties in this process. And the center will get support from the state as well as center and the other Asian countries. And this international center will support India to overcome its image of lagging behind in the enforcement of contracts on account of problems like lack of sufficient judges to resolve the dispute. So it is very important, and this is the state of Telangana. Now we are moving to the next question, and only one question was in the most important section. Now we are moving to very important question section. But first of all, you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join a Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the question. Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship 2021 was held at which place? So again, this is very important question, and you have to remember the keyword Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship. and this was hosted by Tashkent. It means I am talking about which country? I am talking about Uzbekistan. So you have to remember, examiner can ask the country as well as the capital of that country. So India concluded this Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship 2021 with 16 medals. Total India gets 16 medal. Out of 16, you have to remember, you can see here 16 medal, and out of 16 medal, 4 are gold and 7 are silver and 5 are bronze medals. And India's these 4 Commonwealth gold medalists, like one you can see here, the Jeremy, second is Achinta, third one is Ajay. In the men's category, these 3 players won the gold medal. In the women's category, only one name is there, that is Purnima Pandey. And all these 4 players have qualified directly for the 2022 Commonwealth Games. And 2022 Commonwealth Games will be hosted by United Kingdom. Exact place is Birmingham. So you have to remember, 2022 Commonwealth Games will be hosted by Birmingham in United Kingdom. So you have to remember total medals, 16 medals. Out of 16, India won 4 gold. If you want to remember all the players' name, you can, but otherwise only woman name is very important. That is Purnima Pandey. But you have to remember one most important thing under this question, World Weightlifting Championship. Earlier we were talking about Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship, but now we are talking about World Weightlifting Championship. This is also held parallelly at Tashkent. It means the countries are same of World Weightlifting Championship as well as the Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship. Both are hosted by Tashkent, or you can say Uzbekistan. But India only medalist is there. This is Vindhya Rani Devi. So you have to remember, Vindhya Rani Devi won the gold medal in 55 kg of category of clean and jerk event. So you have to remember, clean and jerk event. Vindhya Rani Devi, 55 kg clean and jerk event in the World Weightlifting Championship. She was the only medalist of India and she won the gold medal under this event. So 2 questions under 1 question is there. So remember, the question is very, very important. And you can also remember recent related news that India won 2 medals recently. 2 medals, one is gold, one is bronze medal at Asian Weightlifting Championship. This was also hosted by Tashkent in Uzbekistan, and this was happened in April 2021. And India finished at overall 8th place under Asian Weightlifting Championship with 2 medals, which was topped by China, and second position goes to Iran, and India's rank is on the 8th position. So this is hosted by International Weightlifting Federation, IWF. Headquarters is in Lausanne. Lausanne is in Switzerland. Moving to next question. What is the total length of Ganga Expressway? Again, very important keyword here is the Ganga Expressway, which foundation stone was recently laid by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Again, very important because Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone of the longest highway in India. This is the longest highway in India. This is known as Ganga Expressway, and this total length is 594 km. So answer of this question is C. And total expenditure to build this 594 6-lane long expressway is 36,200 crore rupees. So much cost, 36,200 crore. This is the total cost to build this much of length, 594 km, and this is longest expressway. This is known as Ganga Expressway. And you can see here Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone of 36,230 crore Ganga Expressway, and this is Shahjahanpur, and this is the longest. And you can also remember a 3.5 km long airstrip was also planned to build in Shahjahanpur for assisting emergency landing and takeoff of Air Force planes in the war or warlike situation. And even an industrial corridor will also be built along this expressway for the socio-economic development of this region. And Prime Minister also pays the tributes to the revolutionaries of the Kakori Kand or Kakori incident. There are Pandit Ram Prasad Bismil, Ashfaq Ullah Khan, Thakur Roshan Singh, whose martyrdom day falls on the 19th of December. That's why Prime Minister also tributes to the revolutionaries of the Kakori incident. And you can remember, this is a 6-lane road. This is 594 km total length, and this will be built on 36,200 crore, and it will connect the western and the eastern region of UP. So you have to remember, it is Ganga Expressway. Moving to next question. What is the name of the project launched by National Skill Development Corporation to bridge the gap between skilling? It means to provide the skill to the youth. This National Skill Development Corporation started a program or project which is known as AMBER program. Answer of this question is D. What is the meaning of AMBER? AMBER stands for Accelerated Mission for Better Employment and Retention. For better employment and retention, AM stands for Accelerated Mission. So you can remember there are basically two organizations. One is National Skill Development Corporation, second is Generation India Foundation. Both launched a project which is known as AMBER to empower youth. So you can see here under this project, training will be provided for 30,000 youth with 50% of them being women. It means 15,000 men and 15,000 should be women, and they will be trained under this National Skill Development Program known as AMBER. And the training will be conducted in Prime Minister or the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras across 70 districts in the COVID resilient job roles. And the main objective is to develop and implement a scalable and sustainable model of skill development to empower India's youth with industry relevant skills and employment opportunities. And project will depend on the holistic approach of Generation India Foundation, which is the second organization, to provide higher quality skilling, improve employment and retention outcomes. So you have to just remember the name of the program. This is the AMBER program, and this is just providing training and skills to the youth. 30,000 youth will be selected, and out of 30,000, 15,000 will be women and 15,000 will be men. And two organizations are there. One is National Skill Development Corporation, and second is very important organization which is known as Generation India Foundation. But you have to remember about National Skill Development Corporation. This was established in the year of 2008. Its headquarters is in New Delhi, and its chairman is A.M. Malik. A.M. Naik, not Malik. A.M. Naik. So just remember. Moving to next question. A book titled India's Ancient Legacy of Wellness, authored by whom? So you have to remember the name of the book, India's Ancient Legacy of Wellness. And this book is written by Dr. Rekha Chaudhary. So answer of this question is D. And this book is also launched by Governor of Maharashtra. You can see here the picture, Bhagat Singh Kishori ji. Bhagat Singh Kishori ji. So India Ancient Legacy of Wellness, authored by Dr. Rekha Chaudhary, was launched in the presence of Governor of Maharashtra, Bhagat Singh Kishori ji. And this book specially highlights how important it is for human being to be close to nature, which helps to revive and recharge to do productive work. So Dr. Rekha has also published many of her research work in the World Health Organization, or you can say WHO. So especially you have to remember this book is related to the relationship between the nature and the human being, and also the productivity. If we are close to the nature, then our productivity can increase. So this is Dr. Rekha Chaudhary. But you can also remember other names are here, very important authors like Ayaz Memon. He recently wrote a book, Indian Innings, and the caption is The Journey of Indian Cricket from 1947. Next is Maroof Raja. He wrote a book, Contested Land like India, China and the Boundary Dispute. Next is Salman Khurshid, very famous leader, and he wrote a book, Sunrise Over Ayodhya, Nationhood in Our Times. So it is basically related to Ayodhya. So remember, all these three authors are very, very important. That's why their books are very, very important. Moving to next question. Which state recently celebrated 24th Lokrang 2021 annual festival? Again, very important festival because for the first time in the last 2 years amid COVID-19, this festival was called off. So that's why now this is 24th Lokrang 2021 annual festival, and this is celebrated by the state of Rajasthan. So answer of this question is A. And this is the annual festival of folk artists, and this is you can say inaugurated at Jawahar Kala Kendra, which is situated in Jaipur in Rajasthan. So exact place is Jaipur, and it will culminate on 26th of December 2021, and it is 11-day long festival. So the edition of Lokrang is being celebrated with due COVID-19 protocols, and in this event folk artists from the Indian states present the folk arts of their respective region. So many states of India participated under this event. So you have to remember the main keyword, Lokrang festival. It is celebrated by the state of Rajasthan. Rajasthan Chief Minister is Ashok Gehlot, and Governor is Kalraj Mishra. And you can also remember very important tiger reserve which was recently declared. This was Ramgarh Tiger Reserve. Ramgarh Tiger Reserve is situated in Rajasthan. You can see here, Rajasthan Art and Culture Minister Bulaki Das Kalla inaugurated the 24th Lokrang 2021 festival. And folk artists from Indian states, different Indian states, present their folk arts of their respective regions. Next is, what is the range of new generation Agni P or the Agni Prime missile? You have to remember what is the meaning of this P. This P stands for prime, and this is Agni Prime. So DRDO successfully test fired its new generation Agni Prime missile, and this is the surface nuclear capable ballistic missile, and its range is 1000 to 2000 kilometers. So answer of this question is B. And the successful test became a part of government Make in India system, Make in India initiative, and the longest of the Agni series of Agni 5, and it is an intercontinental ballistic missile with a range of 5000 kilometers. So you have to remember the longest range Agni series missile is Agni 5, because in October India successfully launched the earlier variant of the surface to surface ballistic missile. This is Agni 5 from APJ Abdul Kalam Island of Odisha. So you can see here, this is new generation ballistic missile Agni Prime, successfully test fired by the DRDO. And this is a you can say advanced variant of Agni class of missile, and the test was done from a defense based at Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island of coast of Odisha in Balasore. So you have to just remember the range, and it is surface to very important missile, and this is 1000 to 2000 kilometer range, and this is just to promote the Make in India concept. And remember about DRDO, because it is you can say developed by DRDO. It was established in 1958, and its chairman is G. Satish Reddy, Dr. G. Satish Reddy. Again, very important. Next question is, Government of India and one of the Developmental Bank of Germany, which is known as KfW, signed Euro 442.26 million loan for which metro rail project? Again, you have to just remember the name of the metro rail project, and you have to remember this will be funded by Germany Developmental Bank, which is known as KfW, and name of this metro rail project is Surat Metro Rail Project. So answer of this question is D. So you can see here, India and German Developmental Bank KfW signs Euro 442 million loan for the Surat Metro Rail Project. And you can also remember one important thing, the total cost of this project is 1.50 billion euro, 1.50 billion euro, and out of this bank financing 442 million euro. And this Surat Metro project was launched in the January 2021 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the project aims to strengthen the transport infrastructure and safer public transport of the Surat urban area. And it comprises two corridors. One corridor basically 21.61 kilometer, and second corridor is 18.74 kilometer long. And it will also aid in curbing the problem of traffic congestion and provide integrated town and land use planning through the transit oriented development. So you have to remember it is Surat Metro Rail Project. Just remember the question as same as in slide. Next is GACL, very important organization which is known as Gujarat Alkalis and Chemical Limited and Gas Authority of India Limited signed MOU for setting up a 500 kiloliter per day bioethanol plant in which state? So you have to just remember again the question as same as in slide, and this will be established in the state of Gujarat. So answer of this question is A. And it is also with the cooperation in other business areas of the mutual interest, but you have to remember it will be established in the state of Gujarat, and both companies are very important. One is the Gujarat Alkalis and Chemicals Limited, second is Gas Authority of India Limited. And you can remember this 500 kiloliter per day bioethanol produced from this plant will be used for blending in petrol. Because we have a target that we have to blend 20% of ethanol with petrol. So this is our target. So you can see here GACL and Gas Authority of India signed a MOU for setting up a 500 kiloliter per day capacity of bioethanol plant in Gujarat. And the MOU was signed as a lines of roadmap launched by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi for 20% of ethanol blending in petrol by the year of 2025 in order to reduce import of the crude oil. And the estimated cost of this project is 1000 crore, and it is expected to generate annual revenue of approximately 1500 crore. and it will generate direct and indirect employment of around 700 individuals across area. So the plant will use corn and broken rice as feedstock with eco-friendly technology. So two questions you can remember. One is this bioethanol plant will be established in Gujarat, and this will be established by Gas Authority of India Limited, and total blending target is 20% of ethanol blending with petrol by the year of 2025. And you can also remember about Gas Authority of India Limited. It comes under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Its chairman and managing director is Manoj Jain. Manoj Jain. Moving to next question. Who will chair the committee which is recently created by International Financial Service Center Authority for transfer of stressed loans? So again, very important, because International Financial Service Center Authority set up a committee for creating a framework for the transfer of stressed loan from domestic lender to the financial institution. And who will lead this committee? This is G. Padmanabhan. Answer of this question is C. And he was the former executive director of Reserve Bank of India, RBI. So this person belongs to RBI, and he will chair the committee along with the expertise in the banking and the legal firms. And the committee examines the provisions of the RBI directions that require further clarification for transferring stressed loans, for identifying areas or issues of the directions from the RBI. So the main core work of this committee is to creating a framework for the transfer of stressed loans from domestic lenders to the financial institutions. So just remember the question as same as in slide. So you can see here, International Financial Service Center Authority set up a panel for creating framework for transfer of stressed loan to the financial institution. Now we are moving to next question. Who is sworn as the Chancellor of Austria? Again, very important question, but this is one-liner question. So you can just remember Chancellor of Austria. Basically, you can eliminate this option, Olaf Scholz. Olaf Scholz recently appointed as the Chancellor of Germany after replacing Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany. But if we are talking about Chancellor of Austria, then answer of this question is Karl Nehammer. So answer of this question is D. Karl Nehammer was sworn in as Austrian Chancellor by Alexander Bellin, who is the President of Austria, in a ceremony in Vienna, Austria. So you can also see here the picture. And Karl Nehammer was sworn in as the Austrian Chancellor, and Karl Nehammer from the ruling conservative Austrian People's Party. You have to remember the name of the party. It is OVP. OVP stands for, it is Conservative Austrian People's Party. Austrians People Party. And he is succeeding the career diplomat Alexander, who took charge as the Chancellor in October 2021. Earlier the Chancellor was Alexander Schellenberg. And he is the third person to hold this role of Austria's Chancellor in the last 2 months. But you don't have to remember, just remember the name of the party and name of the Chancellor. It is Karl Nehammer. Moving to next question. Veteran politician and former Union Minister R.L. Jalappa passed away. So, most important name here, L. Jalappa, or you can say R.L. Jalappa, a veteran leader of Indian National Congress and the former Union Minister of Textile. Former Union Minister of Textile passed away in Karnataka. Even he belongs to state of Karnataka. And in 1996, you have to remember, he was elected to the Lok Sabha from Chikbalapur constituency representing Janata Dal. And he was served as the Union Minister of Textile from 1996 to 1998 under the you can say Prime Minister of H.D. Devegowda and Inder Kumar Gujral. And he has served as a member of Karnataka Legislative Council from 1980 to 1983 and a member of the Karnataka Legislative Assembly from 1983 to 1996. And from 1996 to 1998, he was Union Minister of Textile. Just remember, he belongs to Karnataka. He was the former Union Minister of Textile and he belongs to Indian National Congress. Moving to next section, it is an important question section, but you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the question. India and which country announced a new program which is known as Technology Based Energy Solution Innovation for Net Zero. Net Zero stands for, it means you can say carbon neutral country. And Technology Based Energy Solution is basically launched by India and the United States of America. So India and the United States of America announced a new program which is Technology Based Energy Solution. It is to support innovations to tackle climate as well as clean energy challenges. So it is India and United States of America. And the new program aligns with the goals under the United States and India Climate and Clean Energy Agenda of 2030 Partnership Agreement signed in the April 2021. And under this program, both the countries will work to tackle the climate and the clean energy challenges. So the main objective is to support India-US science and technology based initiative and address the development and implementation of clean and renewable energy, energy storage and carbon sequestration. It means we have to curb the carbon from the environment. So this is main criteria. And even in the United Nations framework on the climate change, India also agreed to become carbon neutral by the year of 2070. So you have to remember India's target. And UNFCCC recent meeting was held in Glasgow. Glasgow is in Scotland. Scotland is a part of United Kingdom. Next is National Conference on Investment Opportunities in Highway, Transport and Logistics was held at which place? Again, this is just an important question, not very important. So you have to remember this was hosted by Mumbai. So answer of this question is D. And a series of memorandum of understanding was signed during the National Conference on Investment Opportunities in the Highways, Transport and the Logistics, which was held in Mumbai, Maharashtra. So you can see here the Union Minister Nitin Gadkari ji here, and so many agreements are signed. Like first one is setting up of multi-modal logistic parks. So this will be set up at 5 you can say strategic locations in Maharashtra. And next is MOU has been signed between the government of Maharashtra and Tata Motors, and it is for registered vehicle scrapping facility. And next MOU was signed between the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, IIT Madras and MapMyIndia, and it is for collaboration on driver and road safety technology. Because IIT Madras will provide expertise to Ministry of Road how that we can improve the road safety technology. So these are the MOUs which were signed during this National Conference on Investment Opportunities in the Highways, Transport and the Logistics. Just remember, Union Minister is Nitin Gadkari, constituency is Nagpur. Moving to our one-liner important points, and here is the first point. Prime Minister Modi lays foundation stone of Ganga Expressway. We already covered this question. Next, Tamil Nadu declared Tamil Thai Vazathu by you can say Manon Maniam Sundaranar as a state song. My pronunciation can be wrong, but you have to remember these keywords here. Like this is Tamil Nadu state song, and this is named as Tamil Thai Vazathu, and it is written by Manon Maniam Sundarnar. And this song was basically taken from a Tamil drama which is known as Manon Maniam. Tamil drama name was also known as Manon Maniam. And this is declared as a state song of Tamil Nadu, and this is declared by the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin. And the song should be sung in 55 seconds. So you have to remember Tamil Nadu state song is Tamil Thai Vazathu, and this is written by Manon Maniam Sundarnar, and this is taken from Tamil drama known as Manon Maniam. Next is RBI authorized RBL Bank to collect indirect taxes. Again, very important, because based on the recommendations, Reserve Bank of India granted permission to the RBL Bank to collect indirect taxes on behalf of Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. And RBL Bank has already got permission to collect the direct taxes. Now they can collect direct as well as indirect taxes. So after technical integration, the bank's corporate and individual customers could pay their indirect taxes through the bank mobile application, net banking platforms and the branch banking network. Next, Minorities' Right Day 2021 observed on 18th of December. It is to create awareness on the constitutionally assured rights of the religious minorities and aims to uphold the right to freedom and equal opportunities for the ethnic minorities in India, especially Article 12 to 35 under Part 3 of the Indian Constitution, which provides the fundamental right, and special rights provided to minority under Article 29 and 30, that is cultural and educational right to the minorities. And the day also highlights the need to eliminate all forms of discrimination against minorities. And the day is annually celebrated by National Commission for Minorities, and National Commission for Minorities chairperson is Iqbal Singh Lalpura ji. Next, United Nations World Arabic Language Day observed on 18th of December 2021. So it is just observed on the theme of Arabic language, a bridge between civilization. And the day honors the Arabic language, which is spoken by over 400 million people globally, and celebrate the cultural diversity of the Middle Eastern region. And you can also remember total United Nations official languages are 6. One is Arabic and other are Chinese, English, French, Russian and Spanish, and one is Arabic. So these are 6 official languages of the United Nations. Next, International Migrants Day 2021 observed on 18th of December. It is to increase the interest of the international community on effective and full protection of the human rights of the migrants. And the day also aims to ensure that migrants' rights are not violated and are protected equally. And you can see here what is the theme. Theme is harnessing the potential of human mobility. This is the theme. And one organization is there, International Organization for Migration. Its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. So you have to remember it is observed on 18th of December. So now we are moving to the question of the day. What was the question of 18th of December? Which is India's first payment bank? So very simple question. Bharti Airtel launched India's first live payment bank named as Airtel Payment Bank. So answer of this question is C. And this was basically established in the March 2017. And at present there are 7 operational payment banks in India. So you have to remember the first was Airtel Payment Bank, which was established by Bharti Airtel. Now we are moving to the question of the day. What is the question? Expand PIO in relation to Right to Information 2005. All the students know that Right to Information passed in the year of 2005. And what is the meaning of PIO in context with the Right to Information? So you have to tell me answer only in the comment box. I am waiting your answer. Please like this video. Please share this video as maximum as possible. And please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And join our Telegram channel and press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. And it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section. Definitely. Don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.